Hey, Mega Moms, Jessica Hensley here with Real Estate Mega Moms, where we help moms create a life and a business that they love. And today I have Stefanie Stockberger with me, and we are going to talk about something that may be subconsciously sabotaging you. We want to ask, are you addicted to chaos? Oh my gosh, Steph, there's so much going on in the world and in our industry and with
I know.
agents. We're seeing a lot of people make brokerage moves and maybe even like big life moves. And it just kind of brought up this question. And I asked Steph, I'm like, it just seems like some people may be addicted to chaos. So we're going to talk about it. Do you think that that's possible for someone to be addicted to chaos?
I think so. Absolutely. I mean, you gotta look at different personalities, and that there's people that stay busy with busyness and busyness of other people's busyness. They always want to do something. They always want to change something. And then there's other people that are just steady eddies. There's never anything different. Maybe not as much excitement, but maybe they don't need excitement. But you are right. There's a lot of chaos going on right now. And it's all around us. People, especially in our industry, people leaving the industry, people maybe staying in the industry, but getting some maybe additional employment, changing businesses, changing brokerages, just hoping the other side of the fence is maybe a little bit better. Just, really uncertainty sometimes will bring that chaos. So, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
seeing a
I mean,
lot of.
I wish one of us had a background in psychology because I mean, I'm just kind of fascinated now, like what drives someone to constantly change their business plan or the next idea. And I say that as someone who probably tends to be that type of person. If I'm going to be honest, I probably would say I have to catch myself often because I think if we're all honest, we're our own biggest enemy, we're our own biggest disruptor. And for me, I'm just kind of being self reflective here because I didn't do research on this topic. It's really just, I wonder, are we sabotaging? So I was asked the other day, how do you feel about change? And I said, I love change. Stephanie, you probably wouldn't say you love change, would you?
No, I'm probably one of those steady eddies. I mean, like it can be exciting. It gets me like a little giddy inside, but I also just immediately go into research mode. And I'm documenting everything. And then I'm like, oops, no, I'm not going to change. So I was just telling you right before we got on here, like how long it took me to even consider changing over to EXP. I had been with Remax for 10 years, and I am a super loyal person. I love that. And I didn't have to be. I mean, like I didn't have to stay there. It's just like once I'm like in something, I'm like staying. And obviously it seemed like it was a good idea for me to change, but making everything like seem like it made sense was a big deal. And so it was difficult for me, but it was exciting. It was exciting. It just took me some time to even kind of think about it. And I'm loyal to you, and I wanted to make the changes, and I did all the things, and I did all the math, but it just took me some time. So I mean, I'm one of those people that it's exciting, but it's hard for me to kind of make that change.
And I love having people like you in my life and like even my team members that kind of bring me back to that. No, this is how we do the job. This is how we, make the sausage basically, right? Like this is the step-by-step process because I think I would definitely be guilty of that of like, okay, let me change this, let me change that. If you've read Rocket Fuel or EOS, you've heard of the term visionary. And I think a lot of top producers or like that Heidi type of personality. They're definitely looking for what is the next thing that's going to help me improve. But you know what it's ultimately driven by? It's driven by something internal of what I'm doing isn't working. And I think what we need to do, if this tends to be you, if you're listening to this on iTunes or YouTube or wherever you're listening to our podcast, and you're thinking, yeah, that's me. I might be addicted to chaos. I want you to ask yourself, like, what is driving me to that? I believe it's because something is broken. You are recognizing internally something you're doing isn't working. And I hope that you can ask really honestly or answer really honestly to yourself, like, why isn't it working? And for me, most of the time it's because I didn't give it an opportunity to work. I didn't do the activity. It sounded really good, but man, that's really boring to make, 10 calls a day. It's really boring to do a video every day. Like once you get into this routine that's predictable, if you're addicted to chaos, you're going to resist doing that activity that's the day after day, time after time. But if you can get through that and you can stick to your plan and you can stick to what works and I'll actually give it an opportunity to work, most of the time you're going to see that it actually works for you and there's no need to change. There's no need to have this huge pattern interruption. And we're seeing a lot of people like making moves on brokerages, and we're not against making a move because obviously we did. I was with United Country for 11 years. I like change, but I'm also very loyal too. So that's why I was there that long, because I was very loyal to that broker. And then I opened my own brokerage, which, like pretty loyal to myself too. And then I left my own brokerage and went to Keller Williams, and I realized what the opportunity was with the national brokerage and with this cloud-based model with the XP. And now it's just like keeps getting better and better and better. And I don't think that this is a brokerage or a pattern or not a pattern, a model that I would want to leave, because they've really made it so good. Like it's too good to be true. So I'm not saying that leaving's wrong. I think that you just need to ask yourself why you're leaving. Right?
That's good. Yeah. Ask yourself why you're leaving. So yeah, I did kind of, my history is kind of similar. So yeah, like I had mentioned, after I had left Remax, I did go to a local brokerage for 4 years. So it took me a lot of guts to leave. And I went to a local brokerage and I loved that local brokerage so much, but my heart was still being pulled to you, and EXP came along and it just seemed like honestly too good to be true. And again, I mean, for me to just make that jump was just amazing, just giddy, but it was around the whole COVID thing. And we weren't working in offices and like so many things. So I think there's definitely reason and times to leave to make the jump. And then there's reasons not to. Like if your main reason is you're grasping onto straws just to try to make that life, you're like, I need something to like save me. Let's just change companies. Yeah, really? I mean, if you're not doing the daily activities at your current brokerage or your current job, and you're looking to have another brokerage like do your activities for you, I don't know if that's really going to work. I mean, if you're looking for a change around, if you want to get around like-minded people that are going to help lift you up and give you the tools maybe that you need to help you do those things, yes, but it's not going to change your mindset to make you pick up the phone and do the things and get out there and do the things. That's just not going to do. It's not a quick fix. That's just not what it is. So if you're looking at just the other side of the fence, just to have someone do the work for you, that's not going to be it. There are definitely people that are looking for that chaos that way. My friend Katie and I, we go on these silly shopping trips together. We call them Sunday night or Sunday fun day trips, where we go up and down the aisles and we really don't even shop. We don't do anything. We're just laughing together and goofing. And we always look at the notebooks and we say, I think I'm going to get a new notebook today because that's going to save me. I just need a new notebook. It's going to give me this fresh perspective, and a new notebook is going to save my life. I can start fresh and a new notebook is just going to save me. So I
Or
sent
like
her,
planners, the same
right,
thing. And you
exactly.
do the planners, and I mean, I do too. So listen,
Yeah,
we're not saying don't do planners or notebooks,
yeah,
but
yeah,
really, if you're not doing the ones you have, it's
right.
probably not gonna make a difference.
A fresh notebook isn't going to save your world. Just like a fresh brokerage isn't going to save your world because you actually have to do the things. But I sent her a message the other day. Well, it's probably a month ago now. I'm like, hey, I got a new notebook. She's like, without me? I'm like, yep, it's going to save my world. I'm just going to be a new person.
That's
So,
funny.
yeah. And that's kind of what I look at, that kind of like chaos for, because every once in a while our minds just get so jumbled up and we're just looking for the quick fix and we want to jumble it up some more. Yeah, so that's what I think is kind of going on right now. People are just wanting to get saved.
Yeah, and I'm seeing it not just in brokerages, I'm also seeing
You're
it
right.
in coaching programs. So, and we've even had a few people go through some of ours and then, oh, I see another shiny object and oh, this is what I'm going to do. And it's like, no, do the work that you signed up for. So I think the whole point here, don't be addicted to chaos. If you're going to make a move, even if you're like me and you're a fast paced, change doesn't scare you, maybe change excites you, um, take a minute, like slow down a minute and ask yourself, what is wrong with what I'm doing now? Is it me, or is it the system, or is it the brokerage, or is it the program? Like, what is actually broken here? And I think 9 times out of 10, it's going to be us. We're not doing the activity. Um, so yeah, it's just an interesting thought process. I don't know if anyone else has seen this or observed this. You see the people that like they're making a move every year thinking, "Oh yeah, now I'm going to be successful," but they were never willing to do the things that it takes to be successful. And, you changing your mind on what it is. And I think that's probably the other thing you need to really ask yourself, like, why am I not willing to do the thing? And most of the time, it's because we don't have a clear enough picture of what we're working for. What are you working for? Why are you doing this? What is your true motivation? And maybe there's some therapy that needs to be had there. Again, we don't have backgrounds in, we're not psychologists or counselors or anything, but I do believe that some people have this deep seated belief that they're not worthy of success, or that this is just how life is. It's supposed to be drama, it's supposed to be chaos. And if that is something that's rooted in you because of maybe how you were raised or past trauma experiences, work through those things, because you do deserve to be successful. You do deserve to have peace, and a peaceful life can exist. Are you seeking out drama? Are you seeking out the chaos with your actions?
I love that. I'm really glad that you brought that up, is, maybe getting some help, someone to talk to, whether it be a counselor, pastor, those kind of things. And we're not here to shame you if you have changed brokerages like once every year. I mean, hey, we're all looking to be happy. And if that's what you're doing, I mean, we're just kind of here just mentioning the fact that the chaos, we're seeing it. We're seeing it. And there's been so much that has gone on in the last, 4 or so years. It's, we're all just trying to survive and live our lives and figure it out. And we're just observing what's going on there. And I love that you brought that up, Jess, that I think that there's help out there to talk things out. And if we're craving that chaos, there's something there maybe that you could talk to someone about, and someone could help you with that. I love that you'd mentioned peace. It was probably peace that we're craving, maybe not the chaos. We're probably craving the peace. We're just, the chaos is kind of just an instinct that we're coming to first.
Yeah, we talk about in the micro team, and we mention it so many times of people don't know if they can trust you if they don't know what they can expect from you. And by you changing things constantly for your team or for your clients or for your family, you're really just breeding that seed of distrust for you and your business and just as a person. So I think that there is something to be said for being steady. I'm not saying never change. I mean, I love change. And I'm always looking for something interesting and thinking outside the box or a different way to approach things. But that being said, like, are you setting your team up for failure by constantly throwing something new at them, constantly changing their role? That if a team is what you're doing, we do have a whole program designed to help you build a team. And the goal of it, and really how it was birthed, was because I was doing this. I was causing constant chaos. And the result was a frustrated team member who didn't know how they could win with me. They didn't know what to expect from me. They didn't know how to do their job, to own their job where I would be happy. Because what would happen is they would do what they thought they were supposed to do. And I would come back to them and say, "Oh no, I wanted you to do this." And they're like, "Well, that was never said. That wasn't on the process. Like, how I can't read your mind." And so, if having employees and a team is like one of your goals long term, being good at picking a system, sticking to that system, setting very clear expectations is going to be imperative for you to keep good people long term. So that's something we can definitely help everyone with. I did think of something else I wanted to say. So think about your daily schedule. We're realtors, so on some level, we probably all thrive in chaos, where I know for me, I use the term addicted to chaos. If I'm being honest, I like that adrenaline. I like the go, 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 go. I'm going to go at an appointment. I'm going to, as long as I'm winning, I like it because it's fun. It's exciting. It's, energizing. But if you look at your schedule, I've had so many people tell me, I can't have a calendar. I can't have a time block schedule because I don't know what I'm going to be doing from day to day. And for those people, what I want you to know is, if you don't know this, every time you change task or activity, you lose about 15 minutes every single time in productivity. So, in his book, um, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I think it's the book it was called. And he said, every time you switch gears from one task to the next, it takes you 15 minutes to refocus, to get set up for your brain to shift gears. So if you're constantly switching from, oh, I got to check my email, oh, I got to post on social media, oh, I got to make this phone call, I got to do this, how much time are you losing just from transitioning? Whereas if you were to say, okay, this is my designated time frame to respond to emails. This is my designated time frame to make my follow-up calls or, touch base with my past clients or current clients or whatever. If you can structure, and we teach this too in the 6 foundations, if you can structure your calendar that way, you're going to get out of that pattern of chaos. You're going to take control of your life, take control of your calendar, and really bring about peace and predictability in your business.
I know. I mean, like, I'll get on a schedule of like living on my schedule, and there is so much more peace. The week that I don't use my schedule is craziness. And I don't remember what I really did. I know I was super busy, but it's just like, what happened? What happened? What did I do? And then you don't feel peace. So I completely understand that.
And I think when you go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, you're the first person in all of my career that even mentioned that to me. I started coaching back. My very first coach it was probably 16 years ago. And no one had ever brought up this principle to me that you still have to have a schedule. It's always been, you're a fireman. You're not where did I hear this? You're a fireman, not a bus driver. You don't have a schedule. You're a fireman. So you just go where the flames are. You just go. And
Yeah, that does not sound like fun to me. Uh,
no, where I
well,
don't even know where I heard that from. It was like anyway, but
that's good.
yeah,
That's really interesting, and that's probably how 90% of, the industry thinks is I'm just constantly running around putting out fires. But if you're doing that, you're really not, you don't really have a business, I don't feel it's just not scalable and sustainable. And especially if you want to have a quality of life, at home. I have a new employee, Steph. Her name is Perla, and she is the sweetest girl. She just started just a week or so ago. She's not been here very long. And yesterday she was off because she was taking a test for her real estate exam. And she was sending me messages at like 9 o'clock at night, trying to just catch up on some of the files that she's been working on because she's a transaction coordinator for me. And I didn't respond to her. And I told her this morning, I said, listen, we do not message each other or clients after hours because we don't want to train other people that they can do that. We want to train them and show them that we're professionals and that we're available during, this time frame. And I want to enjoy time with my family. And I don't want your family to resent me as your boss because you're working at 10 o'clock at night. So you will do your work during this time. And if it's not done, you'll wait until the next day. And she's like, oh, thank you so much. That's wonderful. It was such a relief.
like, very good and super respectful for you to do that and set those boundaries for her right away from the very beginning.
And I love that I have people that are willing that think about stuff like that. They're like, and she's like, I don't want to leave somebody on red. I saw this message come in. It was from one of the other team members, a question about a new contract. And she's like, I felt like I had to take care of it. And I said, I totally understand that. But here's what you do. You put a note down and you'll just keep kind of a running note of what you need to take care of. And then when it's time to do that during your work hours, you'll do it then. So you're not going to forget, but
Right.
There's no need to mess with it now because there is no emergencies in real estate, right? So
No.
yeah, I love it. I love it. I hopefully Mom Sis gave you a little bit of inspiration and some love on how to change your calendar, how to kind of reset your mind and think about, taking control. And I think that that's really what it is. We don't need to live in chaos. So something else that I've that often throws us into chaos is the other party, the other person on the
That's
other
good.
end, whether yeah, the other agent or the lender or, all these variables that we don't have control over. So how do we handle that as real estate agents? So kind of a motto I have for myself, and I say to myself, I don't always say it to the other person, but your lack of planning and your emergency doesn't equate to my emergency. Just because you didn't plan and prepare doesn't mean I have to all of a sudden drop everything to take care of what you forgot. And then they can just wait until the next business day during business hours. And that's a loose rule. Obviously we're going to do what we can to get our clients, but you know what I mean?
Right. I just try to, I just try to not feed into whatever's going on with their day and remember that, they could have someone maybe died in their family. Maybe there's a divorce, maybe their pet passed away or whatever the case is I just try not to take it on my shoulders when they call me all hot and angry and all those kind of things. And Brad and I had, this has probably been 2 or 3 weeks ago. Well, it wasn't me. It was actually Brad, where one of our clients kind of called up just ripping on him. And I was in the car and heard it. And I'm just like, you just have to just let it just be. I mean, like there's probably who knows what going on in her life. And it's definitely not you. It's just like, she didn't call ripping on you because she doesn't like you. She's like, she doesn't even know you. We've not even ever met her. She's from another state. And so like there's something going on in her life. So it's just like, don't take her chaos on you. Don't suck it in. Just let her just be. And the rest of the day, otherwise it's just like, it could ruin his day, could make his day chaotic. And then what does he do with that? And what would I do with that? And our son was in the back seat and heard this. And like, what does that do for his day? And so, I mean,
Mhm.
there's a lot of things you can do with that energy, and it's just not worth taking it on.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I mean, the Bible says, Proverbs 15:1, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. And I think if we all are honest, when we experience that, whenever I'm, maybe short with somebody, if they respond in kindness, like immediately I'm like, oh, I like feel bad, or it just makes you check yourself. But if they respond with, defensiveness, then you're more likely to argue. And so I think we need to take note of that. That's a really great point to avoid chaos. How many times can we like put a blanket on the situation, right? To calm the fire down rather than putting gasoline on the fire.
Right? There's just no reason to argue back at any time, whether or not you agree or disagree. There's just no reason to argue or to elevate or to cause that chaos. There isn't. I mean, you can have a difference of opinion, but you just don't need to argue about it. There's always a way to take on a situation and not make it ornery. There's just,
Mhm.
you just don't have to engage it, because a lot of times when people are doing that, they want you to engage. They want
Yes.
you to take on their problem. They've had a bad day. Something is happening in their life, and they want you to take it on. And you just don't need to.
Well, and the other side of that is, let's say it's not a bad day, or um, it's not somebody being rude necessarily. They just frankly forgot to do something that was really technically their job to do. So what we always do as a team is we look at, okay, how can we get ahead of that? Because we're not going to rely on the other side to do their job every time. I mean, if they do, awesome. But we also know like every step of the way what needs to be done. For example, today I did a walkthrough and there was a few things that we were unsure if they were completed. One thing wasn't completed, and we're closing today, So I told my transaction coordinator, I said, we need to have the inspector go out and re-inspect, or have the buyer go out and confirm the repairs, at least a week before, if we can, a week before the final walkthrough. That shouldn't be done at the final walkthrough. And I think in my head, I knew that and really thought that that's what was being practiced. But anyway, somehow that wasn't conveyed to my team. And she's like, okay, no problem. We're going to change that standard, the SOP, and we'll make sure that the repairs are completed well in advance, so we're not caught off guard the day of closing, because that's going to ruin everyone's day if we can't close. And we could blame it on the other agent. Well, you didn't get those things done. You didn't give us the repair, invoice or what have you. But no, I'm changing something on my side, on my team.
That's a great way to do, to think about that too. It's like, what could you do to have stopped the situation from getting to that point as well? For sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, moms. Well, are you addicted to chaos? I hope not. But if you are, think about some of these things, take some of these tips, apply it to your life and your business so you can have peace, you can have success. Those are all waiting for you. And it's just a matter of doing the right activities day after day. Maybe boring, but it works. We'll see you next time.
Bye.